And we're on. Well, I want to welcome everyone tonight to this incredible opportunity to learn about ASEA and optimal health and wellness for our bodies. And whoever invited you here, I'm so glad that you have come. First off, I just really am glad that you're here. I mean, you belong here. Something in each of your hearts was tugging at you to come on tonight. And it's really my desire for everyone here to just listen in with open ears and an open heart to hear something that is really, it's been life-changing for me and for so many. I feel an obligation to share this information because I know that many of you or your loved ones are suffering with health challenges to varying degrees. And now, with the world situation the way it is, learning about, knowing, and supporting our immune systems is of utmost importance. So this, my friends, is for you. You could have chosen to be anywhere tonight, but for this next hour, you're here and you're meant to be here. So first off, the disclaimer. Any modalities that we discuss here tonight are not intended to diagnose, prescribe, or heal or treat anything. But we do know that the body itself is designed to heal, regenerate, and be whole. And having tools to support that divine innate ability is really a total gift. So many of you have already been introduced to ASEA Redox Signaling Molecules in some way or another. And for some, it is brand new. ASEA is a redox signaling molecule supplement. It consists of trillions of stable, perfectly balanced redox molecules that are suspended in a pristine saline solution. And it comes in a bottle that looks like this. They are the same molecules that exist in the human cells of your body. Redox molecules are vital for the health of your cells, and that's why the body makes its own supply. But after the age of about 12, our cells make fewer and fewer of these molecules. ASEA is the world's only source for replenishing signaling molecules. It is 100% safe, non-toxic, and has no contraindications with any prescription medications or supplements of any kind. This cutting-edge science is now available to you and I. This has personally changed my life from the debilitating symptoms of a bug bite. I continue to watch people and their pets who use this product be the catalyst and mechanism to allow the body to do what it naturally knows how to do, and that is to heal, regenerate, and be whole innately. So, in the spring of 2016, I was diagnosed with a debilitating condition that was caused by a little creepy crawly bug. In hindsight, this diagnosis now makes a lot of sense to me, and the pieces fit together. It didn't for a while. But what I thought and was told was severe depression and anxiety really had been a nasty bacteria that infiltrated my body from a bug bite. And I was told likely 20 years ago or more. My journey into natural health began in 2006 with a desperate attempt to get off of many different prescription medications, and my body was feeling seemingly out of control. I was so very tired of the Western medicine route of just adding one more medication, and I could no longer live this way. My body was so very toxic, and the pills just were not effective anymore. So one by one, I aligned myself with natural health practitioners who offered valuable assistance. So it was in 2012 that I met Dr. Darren Weissman, who is our presenter this evening. He introduced me to an amazing technology that he developed called the Lifeline technique. I leaned in and I grew exponentially through that time, and I still am. It has been a time of deep personal development, really connecting the dots from my head to my heart. And I've taken really a deep transformative dive into my own being and purpose. In the Lifeline, learning how to set an intention, harmonize the body, and move forward with infinite love and gratitude, no matter the symptoms or stress, has been immensely valuable, just very priceless for me then and now today, especially in this crazy pandemic time. So although this webinar is not at all about that, it is a huge part of my life and a big part of why I'm here today. So I am so grateful that Dr. Darren came into my life then with this life-saving lifeline technology, and I still am. But my focus here tonight is to share a story, a true story about redox molecules. So briefly, it was one warm spring day back in 2016, and I took our dog Journey for a walk. And I only had the strength to take one dog for a walk at a time. We had 4 then, but I was so excited in my heart, like, because spring was coming. And it was that day that I realized I was no longer depressed, but that my body was speaking to me very loudly with a physical ache. It just hurt all over, like my blood hurt everywhere. I couldn't even complete the walk. There was so much discomfort happening. Sometimes it was excruciating, but I knew there was something much deeper going on, not just this depression. So it was months later that I actually had a vision of needing a wheelchair in my future if this whole situation didn't turn around. And then it was August of 2016 when I got that bug-related diagnosis, and I was introduced to this incredible product called ASEA. And it was Dr. Darren who had heard a testimony from a man named Scott Lavallee with the same condition, who had experienced an amazing transformation in just a short period of time. So Dr. Darren shared this with me, a 1-month supply, with hopes that it would make a difference, and boy, did it ever. Because on day 6, I woke up with energy, very little discomfort, and I went, wow, it was just so refreshing. It was like a feeling I hadn't had in years. I felt zingy all over. And later that afternoon, I got a message from God, like an internal message, like almost a literal voice, but it was just that feeling type of thing. And it said, go for a bike ride. And I was like, do what? Because I hadn't worked out in months, and I hadn't really even moved in months. And I used to be really active. So I'm like, seriously? Like a bike ride? And the voice back was just trust. I got on my bike and I went 6 miles that day. I couldn't believe it. So I got back home and I'm like, is this real? Like, the only thing I had changed was the ASEA. And of course, being the skeptic that I can be, I decided to not just get too crazy about this energy burst. It must just be a coincidence, right? After all, how could this be? The next mornings were always the hardest for me. I woke up again with energy and almost no symptoms. So this time I challenged myself and I went 11 miles on my bike that afternoon. And yes, I was sore, definitely, because I had not used those muscles, but I was excited. It was like that good sore kind of feeling. And then this pattern continued. So tonight we are here to learn more about this breathtaking product. I can tell you that this miraculous transformation, because of it, I just have this real deep moral obligation to share it with anyone I come in contact with, and the world, and you. So let me introduce my dear friend, Dr. Darren Weissman. So Dr. Darren is a holistic chiropractic physician, the developer of the Lifeline technique, and the best-selling author of The Power of Infinite Love and Gratitude, and 3 other books. Based upon his expertise of the subconscious mind and holistic health, Dr. Darren is an international speaker in the field of consciousness and has been featured in several natural health documentaries, such as the movie Emotion, and most recently, the documentary Heal. So if you have Netflix, go watch it if you haven't seen it. It's really a great documentary. Based upon his life's work and research, Dr. Darren developed the Lifeline technique in 2002. Since then, he established the Lifeline Center along with several online educational course programs. He also maintains an international workshop and lecture schedule teaching the Lifeline technique via e-learning and live courses. He is devoted to personal development with a collective vision of creating world peace through inner peace. The Lifeline technique draws students from all over the world, where there are now over 800 certified Lifeline practitioners in 24 countries. And I'm honored to say, and grateful to say, that I am one of them. His passion is teaching people how to intentionally change the reactive emotional patterns of the subconscious mind, and as a natural byproduct, clients enhance their body's ability and their relationships' ability with natural potential to heal and thrive. Dr. Darren lives in Chicago, Illinois with his beautiful wife, Sarit, and 3 amazing children. On a personal note, Dr. Darren's courage and his presence in my life has caused not 1, but 2 life-changing transformations for me, the Lifeline Technique and ASEA. Yes, I have had to do the inner work and show up, but I can tell you that I would not be here today without the amazing energy, incredible patience, and support from Dr. Darren. So Dr. Darren, we are all excited to learn more, so take it away. Are you there?
Yeah, I am.
All
so
right.
Thank you so much, Ellen.
Yeah.
You're such a bright light. I'm so grateful and I'm so honored. And thank you to each and every one of you for choosing to show up tonight. Literally before getting on this call, I had 2 conversations with people that both jumped on this call. So I'm really excited that June and Pilar actually were able to get on and be here. It's incredible to see so many familiar faces and faces that I haven't seen before as well. This is going to be an hour presentation that's going to be chock full of really valuable information that truly is life-saving. It's life-changing. As Ellen said, it's against the law in our world right now to say that anything treats, diagnoses, or cures that isn't pharmaceutically based. It's just the nature of it. So please listen to my words because I'm going to be speaking with authenticity, but I cannot name diseases because it's against law. And all the reality is it's not about treating, diagnosing, curing. What is it about? It's about my passion. And my passion is about activating the body's natural ability to heal. Well, how can we enhance our own health naturally, effectively, as well as quickly? That is really what it's all about. I'm still on duty at letting people in. It's so good. Oh, you got it? Okay, cool. So
I'll grab it. I got it.
You got it right now.
Yep.
So I'm off that business then.
Off that. Just speak away.
Yeah. So first and foremost, I'm going to be sharing a PowerPoint with you. So as much as I would like to be sharing my smiling face with each and every one of you, I'm going to shift and give you some visual images as I speak with you and talk to you. We will be taking questions at the end and we will be hearing a couple testimonials. I really, if you got something that's really burning as far as a question, write it down and I will answer any and all questions so that, you know, when you leave here today, it is my hope and is my intention that you feel really confident in understanding the science of redox technology and the value that it has for our own health and well-being, as well as our family and the people that we love, so that you can make a real discerning decision when it comes to your health and well-being. So I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go here. And I'm going to go here. So when I was in Australia just a short bit ago, because I was traveling around the world with my family for 10 months, I was going to give a talk at a buddy of mine's clinic, Dr. Andrew Powell, and his little boy, Kaylin, was at school, and a little girl, one of his classmates, saw a big spider in Australia. The spiders are huge, and the little girl threw a rock at the spider, but hit Kaylin's face and nailed his lip. And so Dr. Andrew's wife and I, she picked me up when we were in Bondi Beach, and we ended up going to the school. And the picture on the left is some mud from the rock on the nose and, you know, a bloody lip inside and out. And we use this product called Renew 28. And we obviously gave him infinite love and gratitude, but that's how we roll. And this is within 30 minutes. This is within 30 minutes, a shift within the inflammation within the body, as well as a change in what he was feeling. So it was profound, and he's such a sweet boy. And sometimes in life we need those natural ways to remedy experiences that are traumatic. So here's our journey today, our ASEA journey today. We're going to reveal a scientific breakthrough that has ultimately changed the way we understand healing in disease from a cellular perspective. We're going to learn how to activate our body's natural ability for optimal health. What's peak potential? And ultimately, while reversing the damaging consequences of stress that goes on in our bodies and our lives. Is anybody here going through any levels of stress? Any takers, right? Yeah, and what's the impact on that? How do we shift those patterns of stress? Those of you that are athletes, we're going to learn how to awaken athletic resilience and recovery. We're going to learn a simple and effective way for switching on our genetic potential, anti-aging. We're going to learn how to restore and maintain glowing, vibrant, and youthful skin, because youthful skin is healthy skin. And then we're going to do questions and answers. So often in life, we recognize that what doesn't destroy us makes us powerful and more resilient. And that sometimes when we feel buried by life circumstances, that there's something inside of us that if we could just activate it, will give us the power and the potential to move through the darkness and grow towards the light and have massive breakthroughs. And what I'm going to share with you right now is ultimately a massive breakthrough. Now, what we know about our body is that it's designed to heal, regenerate, and be whole. Just take a moment and think about that. Your body is designed to heal, regenerate, and be whole. Every cell in your body, whether it be your bones, takes 3 months to grow new bones. Your DNA regenerate every 2 months. Your liver, you got a new liver every 6 weeks. Stomach every 5 days. Lungs are replenishing themselves every 2 to 3 weeks. You've got a new set of skin cells every month. Your blood cells every 4 months. Your brain in a year. But then you ask yourself, if my body is regenerating, if it's designed to regenerate, how come this pattern of symptoms, of discomfort, of dysfunction continues on? And we're going to talk about that. You know, there's this thing called stress. And now, in our world today, the impact of stress, whether it be what's going on with so many people suffering with COVID-19, coronavirus, people being out of work and not being able to pay their bills, people not being able to visit family members and, you know, parents, you know, or people that pass and you can't grieve them properly. There's so many levels of stress. And, you know, these are, you know, I really think current levels of and statistics of stress are even more extraordinary. But back when 43% of all adults on one level or another suffer with health effects from stress, I would say 100% right now. I'd say 100% of the people, of the 7.7 billion people on this planet, are all being impacted by the cultural stress that human beings on this planet are going through. And so, you know, now you want to go to a doctor's office, you really can't even go to a doctor's office. You got to be careful about going to a doctor's office based upon what's going on. But 75 to 90% of all doctor's office visits are stress related. It influences our immune system when we're stressed. It influences our hormonal balance. It affects our digestion. It ultimately influences our genetics ability to be switched on and function as we're designed to function. So, and it's more now, OSHA declared stress as a hazard of the workplace. Stress costs American industry more than $300 billion annually. That's not even a necessary statistic now because people can't even work. So many people are out of jobs. And so it just adds to a whole other level. So I have been in practice as a holistically trained chiropractor, acupuncturist, naturopath for the past 26 years. I'm introduced to all kinds of things, different supplements, vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, potions, lotions. But 6 years ago, I was introduced to ASEA Redox from a dear friend of mine. Her name is Ahuva. Her daughter was diagnosed with a disease where her cells mutated. They were rogue. And she went the medical route and had a very difficult time with that. And was then introduced to ASEA Redox and had a very positive result. And Ahuva, knowing me for over 2 decades, reached out and said, Dr. Darren, you've got to use this for your own health. And when you understand what this is and you really feel it for yourself, you're going to help a lot of people. She sent me lots of information, research. I didn't read any of it, but like Ellen, I just used it. Within 3 days instead of 6 days, I noticed a light switch going on in my mind, in my brain. I was clear, I was focused. And if you talk to anybody that knows me and you said, does Darren have a light switch that's off? They'd say, no, he's an Energizer Bunny Rabbit. He goes 24/7. You send him a message, he's on it. You call him, he calls you back. He's like, I don't know how he does it all. So I would have never known that I had a light switch off, but I was clear, more focused and present. My dreams were more vivid. I was waking up more rested. If you talk to my wife, she would say I'm a bear when I sleep. It takes me 10 seconds and counting to fall asleep, and I wake up early and do my business. So, I would have never known, but I started using this and having profound impact as far as resilience and recovery with yoga and having powerful experiences. I'm going to share with you something that if you've got a weak stomach, then you might not like this picture. My wife, we live here in Chicago, and in the winter it's icy, and she slipped on our driveway while carrying her keys. The keys plunged into her palm. This is a picture of her with keys in her palm in the Highland Park Hospital emergency room. I was asking for prayers on Facebook, and they gave her lots of shots to numb it. They ripped it out. They said, you better go to a specialist. You're going to have a lot of damage there. They said, here's some pain pills. Here's antibiotics. She took one antibiotic. She forgot to take any other. She never needed a pain pill because she was using this product that ultimately affected how she felt inside. And within 5 days of using this, she had full range of motion of her hand. It looked like a cat scratch. And she never needed to see a specialist. And she had full function of her body. So this product I used for a year before I actually shared it with a client, before I shared it with a patient. And the reason is because the company is a direct marketing company. And not that I have any issue with a direct marketing company, because some of the products by direct marketing companies are the best, but I did not know the integrity of the company. I did not know, I didn't know the ethos of it. And so I shared it with my mom, I shared it with my brothers, I shared it with my family, my dog, my cat. However, I was not sharing it with clients until, as Ellen told you, I saw a testimonial with a guy named Scott Leveille who had this creepy crawly bug burrow into his body, and he had great results. And I shared it with Ellen. And once Ellen had this response after 6 days, I knew that it was my moral obligation as a holistically trained physician to learn more about this, because if I keep it to myself, I'm not doing my job. So I flew out to where the company is, and I went to the FDA approved manufacturing and distribution plant. I met the CEOs, the presidents, I met the scientists that stabilize these molecules, and I give this company my stamp of approval. I will speak on any stage about the positivity of this product because it's real. The company's real. They are people before profits, and what they're doing in the world is miraculous. And the gentleman who ultimately discovered this product, who stabilized it, Gary Samuelson, he will one day win a Nobel Prize because he's insanely beautiful and brilliant. So one of the things that it does is anyone who has blue hair, it will change that. No, I'm just kidding. I was at a party and I was wearing a blue-haired wig with funny eyes. But if you look over here underneath my left eye, do you see what that thing is underneath my left eye? That is one of 4 unique marks on my skin that have completely resorbed from using this product. My body is intelligent like your body is intelligent. And when given the proper tools, it knows how to regenerate. So we're going to be talking about ASEA Redox, and it is 10 to 15 years ahead of its time. It is truly a cutting edge technology, and in of itself, it's like nothing else that you could ever even fathom. it's a new category of science. It's not like anything that you've really ever heard of before. When I was getting my doctorate in 1994, I got my doctorate. What was understood about redox was it was part of the mitochondrial metabolism that ends up in a toxic byproduct. 4 years later, 3 Italian scientists won the Nobel Prize in discovering that these redox molecules produced by the mitochondria are actually cellular signaling molecules. They enable, like you and I are doing right now, they enable cells to talk to one another. And when cells can talk, then the liver can do its job and it can say, hey, pancreas, secrete insulin. Hey, adrenals, secrete cortisol. Hey, brain, secrete this neurotransmitter, right? It enables our body to do what it does through proper communication. They thought it was impossible because these molecules, you got to understand, they are so reactive. So the second that our body produces them, guess what? They get used up. So they're very unstable. So it was a massive breakthrough in figuring out how not only to produce them, but how to make it stable so that you could consume them or use them. So like many things that are original ideas, sometimes it's easier to say what something isn't before you say what it is, right? Does that make sense? So ASEA Redox, it's not a vitamin. Like, who takes vitamins, right? It's not a mineral. It's not an antioxidant. It's not a juice. It's not an essential fatty acid. It's not a probiotic. It goes beyond nutrition. It goes beyond the ingredients that exist within these micronutrients that we take. It impacts our health at a depth that no other supplement has ever come close to achieving. So I invite you to just take a moment to take a deep healing breath. And as you exhale, acknowledge that there are trillions of cells, 50 to 100 trillion cells in your body that are networking right now. Your body is the most complex communication network system ever comprehended. From your nose to your toes, from the inside to the outside, your body is networking so that you can adapt and be resilient in any and every given moment. But let's say there's a house and it's on fire. And that house is your body. And that fire, do you know what they call it? Inflammation. There's a flame. Now, when there's a house on fire, like I recently had this happen, I had to call the fire department, right? You want to make sure that your cell phone has a really good cell signal so that the fire department can receive the call and say, hey, there's smoke in the house. Come over here and put this fire out because the most valuable things that are important for me that I love are in danger. My heart, my liver, my lungs, my brain, my bones, all the different parts of me. But here's the thing. Let's say your cell signal is not strong. And now you're attempting to reach the fire department, but they don't get the message. What happens? The fire breaks down the house. So oftentimes people take vitamins, they take minerals, they take antioxidants, probiotics, exotic juices, and because the cells aren't signaling, then these important supplements don't reach our cells. I used to take 20 supplements in the morning and the evening. I used to take all these different supplements every morning, every evening. I don't anymore. Sometimes I take some things, but it has completely transformed my regimen of spending so much money on nutritional supplementation. I haven't found it necessary in the same way. No two people are the same. Different people, different strokes for different folks. Some people require unique things, but when your cells are signaling, then your food can become medicine. Then your water can get absorbed and hydrate on a cellular level. Then your rest can truly restore when your cells are signaling. So ASEA Redox right now is the only supplement in the entire world to provide the body with the resources that are so critical for cell signaling, and it allows the body to achieve its fullest peak potential for healing. So a lot of people talk about, oh, this vitamin C, it's natural. This vitamin E, it's natural. This essential fatty acid, it's from wild caught, deep water fish. It's natural. But this is different than natural. This is called native. And what native means, it means that your body produces it. When your body produces something, it knows how to use it. So more than just natural, because it is natural, it's native to the body. So here's a diagram of the cell. You got trillions of these guys in your body, and they're hustling and bustling in this metropolis of your body to keep you functioning in so many ways, for your family, for your professional life, so you can think and make decisions with clarity and calmness and confidence, so that you can bend and twist and do all the kinds of things that we love to do as human beings, right? So inside of our cell, there's a part of the cell, it's called the mitochondria. Oh, where did that go? There it is. There's a part of the cell that's called the mitochondria. And most people know that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It produces energy called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And this ATP enables the cell to do its function. But it also, based upon the salt water in our cell, the mitochondria uses the salt water to produce redox signaling molecules. So the sodium, chloride, hydrogen, and oxygen that is a natural part of what makes up salt water is what the mitochondria use to make these reductive and oxidative molecules. Oxidation creates rust. Reduction causes fires, inflammation. So these redox cell signaling molecules help to break down the rust in our body and put out the fires. There are over 15,000 peer-reviewed articles, over 1,200 books published about redox science. It's involved in virtually every major body system, every major body function, and it's the key to rejuvenation. Now, if you're like me, and I wouldn't imagine that you would be on this webinar if you were not proactive with your health, if you are not open to natural ways to improve your body's ability to function properly. This right now, what we're talking about, is the key to rejuvenation, regeneration, renewal function of healthy cell signaling throughout every cell within the body. Now, here's the catch. There's always a catch to life, right? Anybody here aging? Anybody here aging, right? We all age. So with aging, does anybody have a perfect diet? No. With poor diet, with stress, anybody going through any levels of stress? Environmental toxins. In fact, environmental toxins have never been less than today in our world today. But with age, stress, dietary, poor diet choices, environmental toxins, what ends up happening is our mitochondria are not able to produce these redox cell signaling molecules in the same way. And as a result, the cell's ability to communicate influences us in profound ways. Diminished cellular efficiency and function, all of a sudden the entire healing process becomes slower. It becomes more sluggish. You ever notice that when you were a kid, you're like, man, I used to jump back so I was not feeling good, and then boom, I jump back so quickly. As we age, when there's stress, when there's toxins, it slows down, and you begin to see and feel the visible effects of aging that goes on in our bodies, in our lives. So, what we thought would be, impossible is now possible. And ultimately, the production of redox signaling molecules has enabled us to step into a whole new category of of, of supplementation and support for our bodies. So here we are after 2 decades of research, millions of dollars of heavy patented technology, a team of scientists led by a gentleman named Gary Samuelson. He's an atomic medical physicist. They achieved it. They created and stabilized these redox signaling molecules outside of the body through a 3-step patented process. So I want to walk you through it so you can have an appreciation as far as how they do it. So the company starts with pristine salt water. Sodium, chloride, hydrogen, oxygen, clean salt water, and they take apart the different parts. They take apart the sodium, they take apart the chloride, they take apart the hydrogen, oxygen, and then through a specific process called nanotechnology, they restructure and stabilize these molecules, these redox molecules, into a liquid that's called ASEA Redox and into a gel that's called Renew 28. The ASEA Redox works from the inside out and the gel works from the outside in. I'm going to talk about both of them because they're both very important. In the thousands of people that I've shared this with, I have experienced so many profound impacts in people having complete shifts in the quality of their health and their well-being, their ability to be present with family, get down on the floor and play with kids and grandkids, do things that oftentimes people are told they'll never be able to do because of injuries and trauma, stress, and dis-ease patterns. There's a company that's called Bioagilytics. This stamp right here that's in the middle of the screen is on every bottle of ASEA Redox. Bioagilytics is a company that evaluates pharmaceuticals. So if a pharmaceutical says this is the drug that's in this container, then Bioagilytics makes sure that that's true. That's some of the negativity that the nutritional companies have, is oftentimes they say a supplement's in the supplement, but it's not actually in the supplement because they don't have regulatory boards. So ASEA uses Bioagilytics, which is a pharmaceutical way of regulating medication. They do this to make sure that when you're drinking or using the gel, that the redox signaling molecules are actually in these products. It's certified 100% safe and absolutely non-toxic. So in our world today, we're talking about genetic types of challenges that go on in our body, such as when a virus impregnates a cell, that virus sends a signal to our genes that cause our cells to replicate new cells based upon a virus. So it literally changes how our cells function, feel, and form new cells. Genes contain the blueprint to our health. But as we talked about, whether it be environmental stress or poisons and toxic environments or the stress of finances or loved ones or aging, what happens is our genes, just through the stress of life, let alone a virus, cause our genes to switch off. When our genes, like a light switch, are turned off or on, when our genes are switched off, it is the essence of why certain diseases are more prevalent. That's why people do 23andMe to see, oh, do I have this precursor to this disease or that disease? It doesn't mean genes aren't probable. Genes aren't predetermined, they're probable. So just because you've got a genetic probability doesn't mean that you will get it. But when the gene is switched off and under the right environmental stimuli, then that disease can happen in individuals, and people are more probable to get those types of challenges. So here's a statistic where 50 million Americans suffer from autoimmune challenges every year. This is just the United States. 54 million suffer from inflammatory conditions. Do you know anybody with inflammation? Do you know anybody with an itis disease? Do you know anybody who is struggling with autoimmune disease? Think about it. 1 in 3 deaths in America are connected to cardiovascular disease. 57% of the US population suffers from some digestive disorder. You struggle with any digestive challenges? 80% of women suffer from some kind of hormonal imbalance. So ASEA did a research to evaluate healthy gene expression. In an 8-week research study, ASEA Redox was given at 4 ounces twice a day, 120 milliliters twice a day, to a group of people. Another group of people, they did saline, which is what ASEA is before it goes through the 3-step patented process. And they had a group that did nothing. And they evaluated 5 important genetic markers, gene signaling pathways. After only 8 weeks, every single person that was taking 4 ounces twice a day, 120 mils twice a day, after only 8 weeks, every person had all 5 genetic markers in their body positively switched on by up to 31%, impacting 5 major areas of health. What are those major areas? Immune system, inflammation, cardiovascular health, digestion, and hormonal balance. All 5 of the major aspects of health in the human body, all 5 of these genetic switches were positively switched on after only 8 weeks. When I'm working with people, because you got to understand this product tastes like you're drinking swimming pool water. It tastes like you're drinking swimming pool water. So oftentimes you're like, oh man, I don't like the taste of it. I'm not going to do it. If it tastes like swimming pool water and you don't like it, it means your system's really toxic. And actually, as you start to drink it more, the flavor of it changes. I always recommend when people use this product, commit yourself to 120 days of doing it properly and find your sweet spot. Ellen found her sweet spot within 6 days. I found it within 3 days. Other people, like my friend Brett, he found it, but for him to get what he was really looking for, it took him up to 5 months before he actually did. I tell everyone, give it 120 days and work with the person who shared it with you, or reach out to this community and ask questions so that you can be supported. Because when you find your sweet spot, and what I mean by sweet spot is when your cells are communicating properly, your body will act the way it's designed to function. So what's interesting is one of the genes that was tested influenced 15 other additional pathways. So as we look here, from serotonin receptors to spinal cord injuries to thyroid to insulin signaling, there's so many different kinds of influences that just one genetic marker has on so many other pathways within the body. And one of the biggest things that goes on in our body is what's the influence of our oxidative stress? When our body is oxidated, when our body is rusting, that is the biggest health risk. Cardiovascular, brain disease, all different kinds of things are influenced by oxidative stress. In a research study that ASEA had done before, they evaluated the NRF2 pathway, which is critical for the production of 2 of the major master antioxidants within the body. One that's called superoxide dismutase, SOD, and one that's called glutathione, the master antioxidant. And after a short period of time of being on this product, the production of glutathione and superoxide dismutase increased by 800% without actually taking the supplement. The body was able to produce it within itself. So it lowers oxidized LDL, liver function, lowers oxidized DNA. Its impact on health is nothing short but staggering. So different people around the world, I know Ann Louise Gittleman, she is the first lady of nutrition. She says in her humble estimation, and I agree with her, it's the greatest advance in lifestyle medicine, which harnesses the body's power to keep you well. And this is the gentleman who stabilized and produced the redox cell signaling molecules. This is Gary Samuelson. He is a beautiful angel man. And what a brilliant guy. If you look online and look up some videos about Gary Samuelson, just listen to him speak. He's brilliant, but he's the one who spearheaded it. He's a physicist and a biologist. So there's hundreds of medical professionals that are using it. There are thousands of people whose lives are changed using this product. It's really one of the most significant breakthroughs. And as Ellen demonstrated, it not only influences health and well-being when you have a critter burrow itself inside of you, but it influences athletic resilience. So some of you are working in the athletic world, or some of you, really love an active lifestyle, and it has been shown to influence endurance. It's been shown to influence strength, your recovery, that feeling where you can't, if you've been weightlifting, like, oh my God, I can't straighten my arms, that lactic acid buildup completely transforms in using it, and your mental stamina just keeps you clear. I work as a professional with Olympic athletes and professional athletes as my clients. I can't say who they are, but I do. And because there are no banned substances, they can use this product because there's no banned substances. So they did a research with mice drinking ASEA Redox. For only 7 days, they ran 29% further to exhaustion. Those were some really strong mice. So different Olympic athletes are using this to influence their performance, to influence their workout capacity. As you dive into this, it's really profound. I want to talk a little bit about the outside-in approach, and I invite you to think about your skin. Healthy, young skin cells. They renew themselves every 28 days. The gel is called Renew 28, and that's because your cells come back every 28 days. I'm turning 52 this week, and they say by the age of 50 that your skin can take up to 90 days to renew itself. And so my skin has not been healthier. It looks better. If you look at pictures of me when, like, from 10 years ago, I look better now than I did since using this. I used to get all kinds of razor burn and inflammation. Completely changes that inflammation because it helps the cells return to their natural state of turning over every 28 days rather than what happens as we age. So different research on the Renew, and I want to talk to you about the aspect of the Renew 28. A lot of people, it's wonderful. You wash your face, dry it off, but you put it on your face. So I'm an acupuncturist. The ears are riddled with different acupuncture points. It's called auriculotherapy. When you rub the gel on your ears, you're stimulating your cranial nerves. You know what that does for your brain? Helps your brain function effectively. It influences all your senses, influences all the aspects of brain function when you stimulate your cranial nerves. That happens when you rub it on your ears. Rub it on your neck, rub it over the thyroid, parathyroid. I never tell people to go on or off medication. It's not in my licensure, but under the guidance of Western medically trained doctors, I've had multiple people change their prescription and completely get off prescription medication based upon their cells communicating effectively. So not only do you have better smoothness and less wrinkles and better elasticity and tone, but it increases blood flow just by rubbing it on your skin. Do you know what increased blood flow causes? causes the body to be able to bring nutrients and nutrients and immune function to an area. It enables us to pull waste products away. In 4 days, it enhances blood flow by up to 50%. There's aspects like, oh man, I can tell you so many different stories, but when there's an injury, like I hurt myself recently when I was in Bali, I really hurt myself bad. I almost cut off my big toe. And I know I broke the toe. It's still actually a little bit sore, but I was unable to move it. And when you apply the Renew 28, 3 applications all within 5 minutes, it takes down the inflammation. And oftentimes people struggling where it really feels bad, it changes the feeling there extraordinarily. So there's a lot of different ways that people can apply the Renew 28. A lot of people are looking to detoxify their body. Rub the Renew 28 on the bottom of your feet. It will support the body's natural ability of letting go of poisons and toxins. You know, seeing is believing. Look at the neck, before and after. Look at the forehead. What's that on her cheek? Those are cells that are mutated and rogue. Look at it. You know anybody who struggles with that fourth picture? So it's not only for the face, but it influences all aspects of the body and how your cells communicate. And ultimately, seeing is believing. There's other things that the company makes, and I love it. And some people here might not agree with what I'm saying, but I'm just going to speak for myself and my own integrity. I am only motivated by the Redox technology. What moves me is the Redox technology. I know people love the moisturizer. They love the soap. The soap's really great. I actually use the soap. But, you know, what I love is the Redox technology. It's extraordinary. So I'm going to end this. And stop my share. And what I would love to do is I would love to have Leslie, who I met Leslie about, well, a little over a month ago, but I'd love Leslie to share, because she's really new to using ASEA and Renew. I'd love Leslie to share her experience with it. Leslie, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So I've been using ASEA for about 5 weeks now, and prior to using it, I was just kind of in that slump where I'd been using a lot of supplements on a daily basis, and within the past 5 weeks, I've been able to get results that I haven't found consistently in the past 7 years. I'm sleeping better. I no longer have nervous flutters in my chest and in my stomach on a constant basis. I have better emotional balance. It's not like a roller coaster all the time anymore. I'm taking actually half the amount of supplements that I was 5 weeks ago. And I'm having an increase of energy, mental clarity, physical endurance, and also just motivation to live life and to do things again. And then also less digestive issues. So it's been incredible for me. And my son has also been taking it for the same amount of time, 5 weeks. And within 1 week, we noticed better eye contact when he was talking to us, and he would actually answer questions audibly instead of just in his head. Amazing. So it's been incredible for our whole family.
Wow. Thank you for sharing. Love and gratitude.
Sure.
So I'm so happy for your family. Ellen, who else was going to share?
Brett, did you want to share, or did you have someone? Let me just find where he is.
No, I can share really quickly. You know, I was introduced to ASEA 3 years ago. 3 years ago, the end of March of 2017, and I had a back problem. 34 years of back pain, and that was my focus. But what I found out after 120 days is other things have helped me or occurred. Changes occurred. And that was the most profound thing was my allergies went away that I've had for over 50 years. I slept better, more energy. There was just a lot, but it took a little bit extra for me to get the issue in my back changed. So we increased the dosage after 120 days, doubled our dose, and within 3 weeks I was working out again and doing yoga, swinging a golf club. So, and things are continually changing. So it's just been a great experience for me.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Brad.
Okay.
Yeah. So, one of the things that's really important for me to share with you is, you know, I am 100% about people using this for health and well-being. It's a direct marketing company, but I want you to understand that there's zero obligation to buy or sell anything. This is just about using this for your health and well-being. And there's different ways that you can order this product. Whoever introduced it to you can share with you what that is. But what's really amazing right now, because I really want to talk about how to use this product properly to get the most effective and quickest results. But because of the nature of the company, because it is direct marketing, they're an absolutely ethical, integrous company. There's a way that you can actually save money. And right now, which is very unique, and it's just for this month, and this doesn't happen often, right now, when you order it within this month, the usual $40 sign up, like being a member of Costco, and the shipping is free for your first order. It's worth its weight in gold. It really is. And the product speaks for itself. So I'm happy to answer any questions about anything for anyone right now, because I just want to make sure that you feel really comfortable and confident in making a decision and moving forward. Does anybody have any questions?
Dr. Darren, we had the one question here about how much to drink a day. So maybe you could just talk a little bit about dosage and how that changes.
Cool. That's a great question. It's very important and relevant for all of us. I usually, and remember, there's no cookie cutter approach to anything, especially when it comes to healing, because no two people are the same. But I usually will have people begin with 2 ounces, which when you order a box of it, it comes with a cup, and that cup is a 2-ounce cup. I recommend beginning with 2 ounces in the morning, 2 ounces in the evening. There it is right there. Ellen's holding it, right? The key here is not within 5 minutes of anything else. Not within 5 minutes of anything else. Pour it in there, close up your bottle, put it in your mouth, swish it in your mouth for 30 seconds minimally, up to a minute. Now I want to talk about why we do this. One is the nature of redox molecules when produced in the mitochondria, and this is so important in the world that we're in right now. When redox molecules come in contact with a pathogen, so what is that? Bacteria, virus, yeast, mold, fungus, parasite, antibiotic resistant bacteria. The mitochondria go like this. It's like they puff them, and they destroy pathogens on contact. This is what they do without harming healthy cells. That's what they do. They got to come in contact with them. So there's a lot of different ways that we can go about applying ASEA and Renew 28. Most people don't realize that disease throughout the body begins with some kind of clinical or subclinical infection within the mouth. Most people don't realize that they've got clinical or subclinical infections going on within the teeth or within the bones of the jaw. So when you swish it in here, it takes it to a whole other level of cleaning out your system. But because the mucosal membranes of the mouth are so sensitive in signaling the rest of the body, that you're also waking up the rest of the body and you're preparing it for a conversation. Swallow it down. Once again, tastes like swimming pool water. You'll get used to it. It isn't the worst thing, I promise you. Swallow it down, not within 5 minutes before or after anything. So not even brushing your teeth, not having, you know, an apple. Why? Remember how I talked about the molecules are really reactive? So they're super reactive. As soon as they touch something, they're going to work on it. So don't have it work on your toothpaste. Don't have it work on the apple. Have it work on the cells that it needs to work on. That's it. Now, sometimes And I found this as far as with Brett, and we found it with the genetic study. Getting up to 4 ounces twice a day, we know after 8 weeks is going to switch on your genetic potential by up to 31%. Inflammation, immunity, digestion, hormone, and cardiovascular. So I know it's a mouthful, but after only 8 weeks, we know that every person that is taking 4 ounces, 120 mils twice a day is having all 5 genetic markers positively switched on. So for an adult, I recommend for the 120-day trial period, you don't have to commit yourself for your life, but go, I'm worth 120 days. I'm going to do this properly. What I would do is after a week, go up to 120 mils and then keep it there and be consistent and committed. You know, I noticed it after 2 ounces twice a day. I did. I noticed it after 2 ounces twice a day. I have consumed at one point 2 bottles per day for 2 months. Why? Because I had a massive surgery on my abdomen for an umbilical hernia. But I did 2 bottles the month before surgery, 2 bottles the month after. 11 days after massive surgery on my abdomen, I was in an Inferno hot Pilates class on day 11, and I was in a Bikram hot yoga class on day 12, doing everything but burpees and deep back bends. So the cellular regeneration is extraordinary. It's amazing in that way. But, you know, I'm obviously at that point, what is that? I was spending $64 a day on the liquid, you know, and that's definitely an investment, but it was worth it for me at that time. You don't have to use that much. So 2 ounces twice a day, do it for a week, because your system can detoxify. What does that mean? It means that your cells in your body, you know, if they're not talking, guess what? Then they don't know that garbage goes out on Tuesday. If they don't know that garbage goes out on Tuesday and take your garbage down to the street, then all of a sudden, it's building up, it's building up, it's building up. Now the cells start talking and they go, hey, garbage goes out on Tuesday. Oh my God, I got so much garbage in every cell throughout my body. Dump. And the system starts to feel icky. Now, in a world right now that's freaking out based upon unique symptoms, having a detox would probably not be so fun. So I'd encourage you, please be a great hydrator. Please be a great hydrator. 1 quart of water for every 50 pounds. Stay hydrated, right? 1 liter for every 25 kilograms, you know, of weight. Please be hydrated. Keep the river running, because that's a great healer in and of itself, right? And that river running will help to, you know, rather than the swamp that sits in your body, that will make a big difference. And then when you make the jump from 2 ounces to 4 ounces twice a day, your body, and most people don't have the massive detox, but some people do, you know, and if you do, like headachy or feeling fluey, and you don't want to feel fluey right now, you know, just be aware, like, oh, what's different? I took the ASEA, I'm doing it. You can be comfortable and confident and just keep on leaning into it. It doesn't take long. Your body will move through it. If you need to slow it down, you can slow it down. It's just about pivoting properly. With the gel, shake it before you use it. I'd actually like to show you. Hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. I just want to grab my tube. Let me grab my tube. Okay. So with the gel, shake it before you use it. Get the redox molecules distributed properly. I recommend, so you wash your face with whatever cleanser you want, dry it, and then you take about 3-4 blueberries, right? 3-4 blueberries, it's clear, and you're generous. You're generous. Get in the eyeballs, forehead. Remember the ears? Get on the ears, the cranial nerves. Get it underneath the jawline to get the lymphatics in the neck, especially get your thyroid and parathyroid gland. Me, I can't see anybody who can do this as good as I can right now, but that feels really good. And then just let it dry. And you'll feel it. It tightens. You'll feel it. Your cells are starting to communicate. I mean, I immediately actually just notice a clarity just when you do it. I'm just so sensitive right now at this point. but that's amazing. I'd rub it on the bottom of the feet morning and evening. Just you only need like one blueberry amount on each foot. The feet are smaller, right? Base and the neck and the head are a bigger area, but I would do it because the feet really support detoxification. You ever see those foot detox baths? You know, that's an important thing to do. And really that's it. That's as simple as it is. Obviously, let's say somebody's got a bum knee. You know, they've got a low back conversation, such as my friend Brett. You know, you can take the gel and rub it on that area, let it dry. As soon as it dries, do it again. As soon as it dries, do it again. Like, does anybody here have any chronic pain? Anybody here any chronic pain? What's your name in E103236?
I'm Becky.
Hi, Becky. Love and gratitude. So, Becky, where do you have chronic pain?
Oh, my knees.
Your knees. So, in love and gratitude, I'm sorry that you have chronic pain in your knees. However, that's a great ASEA testimonial, and I can't wait for you to share it with everybody. So, what I would recommend is you use your Renew 28. You know, get it so that you get the whole body, face, ears, neck, right? Thyroid, parathyroid. Get on the bottom of the feet, but do 3 in 5, 3 applications within 5 minutes on the knees. Do that at least twice a day. So you're going to burn through Renew 28 like crazy. But I'm telling you, I have witnessed so many amazing experiences with people that have suffered for so long. And they're like, oh my God, why didn't I have this earlier? Please apply it in this way, Becky. And I can't wait to hear back from you.
Okay.
Obviously, you know Ellen. So I can't wait to hear, you know, Becky sharing her story just like Leslie and Brett did. So thanks for sharing, Becky. Cool. Does anybody have any questions about application usage?
What about the pelvic floor?
What about it?
I don't have any chronic pain, but I've been noticing I have a lot of like instability, fear they're holding in energetically, and I just feel it. I just know it's not healed, quote unquote. So anything is, I know it's kind of inside muscle, but like, I don't know, what any applications to pelvic floor? Because you know, as a pelvic floor, how important core muscle that is intrinsic, but people don't know about it.
Yeah, and it's a great question, Connor. I mean, the whole thing about it, the nerves in the low back or the bowel bladder reproductive organs, they shoot on in and get those areas within the pelvic floor. You know, you can do it in that way. I mean, ultimately, yeah, I mean, that's what I would say about that. By using the drink itself, the nature of it, your body is going to bring it where it needs it most. Maybe not where you want it first, but it's where you need it most. So if you want it in a particular area, it might not go there first, but maybe it needs, do you understand what I'm saying? It might need to be in a particular area, but stay with it in a consistent way, and it can have impact in multiple different areas throughout the body. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Cool. Who else has any questions?
Can my dog use it at all?
Oh, who just said that? I love that.
Me.
That's Victoria.
Hi,
Yes.
Victoria. My doggy uses
Hello.
it.
Yes.
And my kitty.
That's awesome. My boy's only a year old and he's 110 pounds and absolutely crazy. So
Oh. Yeah, you know what? It's anything that has a living cell, it influences. The incredible Lori Falk, she did this incredible thing one time with I love you, you're amazing. She did this thing with a cut flower that she bought, cut flowers. The flowers, you know, after you cut a flower, it's dying. She put it in the ASEA liquid and it started to sprout a whole new side. It started to sprout a whole new side. It was so amazing. So, you know, absolutely, we use the gel, you know, in areas, especially like we've got a Labrador, so we use it within his groin area, belly area. But I put it in. You're not supposed to put it in food, but he's such a muncher that if I can put it in right away, he eats it right away, and at least he gets it in that way. Otherwise, you know, my cat will drink it before he does, but if I put it with food, he'll do it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I love your doggy. That's cool. Who else has questions?
Hey,
Janu.
Darren, it's
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, Darren, didn't mean to interrupt. It's Al here.
Hey, Al.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry, my camera's not on, but hey, I thought I could share with you a couple of experiences both that Cindy and I had.
Oh, cool.
So when you talk about pets, like we personally use it, it's helped my health in so many ways.
Like what?
But just to go, well, I had when we talk about stress. I work in a very, very stressful job in industrial construction, and plus also over a long-term exposure of that. It's a pressure pot at all times. But then also a few years ago, I had multiple family losses, which was very challenging, especially when you're that anchor point for an entire large family to support all the kind of their emotions, kind of keep balance to them.
For sure.
And so when you have all of those kind of moving parts, as strong as you often can be, it eventually does wear you down. And multiple years of exposure literally burned out my adrenals to the point that I was beyond exhausted and could not stay awake often. Even during my tasks at work, I would fall asleep sitting up typing reports.
Mm.
Or in the middle of a meeting and I'd be online in the meeting and I'd literally clunk. I wouldn't even know what happened, just light switch. It affected my driving, which was, especially when you're working in health and safety, it's extremely challenging when you're supposed to be leading by example. That it challenged me. And then most of all, it affected my personal psychology, of the fact that I went into a deep depression.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even realize I was swimming in that. And it truly impacted me so heavily. And thankfully, Cindy had come across this and introduced me to it. And, you know, I'm a typical guy, I'll be honest with you. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a try. And I was kind of following the program, but honestly, I really wasn't very closely. And she kept nagging at me, and, you know, and I become a little bit stubborn, but finally I realized I really truly need to take this thing seriously. And I was taking my 4 ounces in the morning and 4 ounces at night. And it took me, I bet you it was like a few months, 2.5, 3 months. And then I started to kind of feel the change. And all of a sudden it was kind of feeling a little more energetic and a little more focused. And I was getting a little better sleep, much like Brett was mentioning. And I still was kind of struggling after I hitting like 4.5 months into this. And it was the fact that I didn't increase the dose.
Yeah.
And that's what I was told to do, increase it. So I ended up doing like a 6 and 6 per day. And
Yeah.
I'm not kidding you. Within days, it was like I turned the lights up.
And it's amazing how quickly that happens. And I appreciate you sharing that, Al, because, you know, the key is, you know, it's like give yourself 120 days to do it properly and find your sweet spot. And you don't have to stay on that forever. You'll end up finding that once you get it going, you can actually be in a minimal dose. But when life is stressful, it really does make a big difference. I so appreciate you sharing that, Al.
I totally changed my health and wellness, and I feel like a completely different person, much like I felt 20 years ago. But the one last thing was about the pets. It was a unique thing. We played around with introducing it to our boxer, Emma, and she struggled for years trying to keep hair on her belly and her chest. And it was very unique. And we knew part of it was a diet, and she was on a very clean, healthy, raw diet and so forth. But my wife decided to experiment with it. And, you know, we didn't know if she would drink it because to us it smells like pool water. But I swear, like, animals instinctively know the energy that's around that product, because we put it in front of her in a bowl and she looked at it, looked at us, instantly dove into it, lapped up the 2 ounces. So we were giving her 2 ounces in the morning and 2 ounces at night, just kind of an experiment. And coincidentally, no one would believe us unless we had the photographs to show. But we noticed within 2 weeks, came home from camp and I'm brushing her chest and her belly, and I went, oh my gosh, look at all the hair. And The vet also noticed like her hair is really good condition. Her teeth are always in good shape. And it's quite amazing how well her health is because of it.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy for your puppy, and I'm so happy for your family. And I so appreciate your beautiful heart and sharing that, because I know that that's really valuable for people that are wondering the different applications. And the truth, everyone, that there is 101 different applications. Somebody was asking about current situations as far as the disease that's going on around the world and lung health. And, you know, the reality is, once again, there's no making claims to treat, diagnose, or cure. But there is, you know, the key is there's just ways to apply it to your body. And Ellen's holding up what's something that's called a nano mister. You can go on Amazon, get one of these things for under $15. They're very inexpensive, and it's USB charged, and you do it in your mouth. You do it in your nose, the sinuses, you do it right in your eyes. You do it in your eyes. It will influence vision, it will influence sinuses and, you know, immune function within there, but it will influence lung function. And that's a great way to get in there. I mean, I know I've got a nebulizer here, and you can put a nebulizer, but that's really easy. It's really easy, and it's very inexpensive. Right on Amazon. Yep, on Amazon. So thank you for asking that question as well. Does anybody have any other questions? I do not want to.
Yeah.
Janine.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Dr. Darren, how are you?
Hey, Janine, great to see you again, of course.
Thank you. So I've been on ASEA as gel and drink since April 2nd. Within a week, I reached out with questions because I just started, the only thing I'd done differently was taking the ASEA, and I just started experiencing diarrhea.
Yeah.
Is that, so I was doing 4 ounces twice a day.
Yeah.
I've halved it. It's still happening, but it's only been about 4 days. So tell me what's going on there.
Yeah, you know, here's the thing. That's what we're talking about as far as a detox reaction. You know, that's the body having detox reaction, and that is your body doing what it's supposed to do. Potentially, you might I don't know. You might need a good probiotic to support the garden in your biome, right? And in using that, actually, I have a recommendation. There's one called Megaspore Biotic that is a spore-based probiotic that I highly recommend, that will support what's called the leaky gut syndrome. And so that helps. They've done science with that within 28 days, the Swiss cheese of a leaky gut is healed over, and the endotoxins that spill out into the blood are no longer detectable. And so if you're still having it and you've been consistent, and please make sure you're a proper water drinker. Are you really good with your water, Janine?
I am, but I also have suspected that I could have a syndrome that I'm just dry.
Yeah.
on the
Well,
inside.
that might just be some consistent lifeline sessions where your water element is just not being effectively utilized. And, you know, there's ways that you can switch on that communication, and just doing lifeline sessions. Check out my healing circle that I do on Tuesdays, and that's a great way to start it. And that can make a shift in and of itself. But yeah, to me, if it's still going on where you got loose bowels, then I would check out your bowel, and I would check out the biome and get a good probiotic to evaluate that.
Tell me the name of it again.
It's called Megaspore.
Can you spell it? Mega, S-P-O-R?
Yep, S-P-O-R-E.
It's in the chat. Are you
Okay, thank you.
chat room open?
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's Megaspore probiotic.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Is that an
phenomenal.
ASEA product as well?
No, completely different. So, but it's a spore-based probiotic, so it's not destroyed by the acid in the stomach, so that the actual cultures get to the colon. And most probiotics are bacterial-based, so they don't make it there. They're killed by the acid in the stomach. So this is really great. So if you're still having that, or, you know, then I would check into that. Most people do have some kind of leaky gut challenge.
I also just posted the Lifeline Healing Circle webpage on here that Dr. Darren leads weekly that can really help to shift things as well. There's not only just one product. There can be you know, it takes tools coming at it from all different ways, but the ASEA is so foundational to helping to signal everything else that's going on in the body. It's really beautiful.
Ellen, that's really a great point because, you know, a lot of people are looking for the silver bullet, the one-stop shop that does it, and that's just not true. I mean, I guess the one thing that's true is love is the one-stop shop. Just continue to love, continue to be a light, do your best, you know, be compassionate, be gentle, be curious. But, you know, from a physical perspective and a cellular perspective, this will enhance cellular communication. I haven't found anything in 26 years of being in practice that actually makes a change on a cellular level. If you use this properly, don't just do it your way. And I'm not saying that in any way of like, oh, like you don't know, but I'm just telling you that through clinical experience and through the research that they've done, I have found a way to guide people if you're really looking to use it properly to make a difference in your own health or loved one's health. If you're still confused about it and you want a private conversation, whoever has introduced you, if you need, just send me a question. I'm happy to be supportive. I just want you to get a positive experience with this. And oftentimes people will go to Amazon and buy it. Don't buy it on Amazon. What ends up happening, it's a direct marketing company. It shouldn't be sold on Amazon. And so if it is on Amazon, it's usually people that have actually stolen credit cards. And as a result, they've got black market product and so they're selling it for less, or they've got product where they've emptied the Redox out and put water in it, and then it's not going to work. So, you know, just do it properly, ask questions, get educated so that you can make a positive difference in your own health and well-being. Any other questions?
Can I have
Hi.
one more question? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question about mold exposure.
Yeah.
And if you recommend something like the fluid or the gel.
Well, I would recommend a combination of the two. I recommend using it from the inside out and the outside in. So the liquid from the inside out. And, you know, here's the thing, and once again, can't treat, diagnose, or cure, but people that struggle with mold toxicity, that is a powerful experience that happens. And, you know, we know that is an airborne conversation. So we know we're working with sinuses. We know that we're working with lungs. So that nanomister is phenomenal, but I would get the 4 ounces twice a day so that you're influencing the genetic sequence of inflammation, immunity, digestion, hormone, cardiovascular. I'd be doing it. And then I would be taking gel and I would be activating specifically these areas over here, you know, in acupuncture are areas where there are lung points, and you've got access to the upper lobes of the lungs. In the soft spot underneath the clavicle, in the divot here, the lungs are available for us. And so you can rub it over here in areas like that. But I just stay consistent with it, Alicia, as far as just using it properly. The liquid, get yourself up to 4 ounces twice a day. Do the nanomister in your nose, in your mouth, you know, and rub it very generously. And here's the thing, you know, this is a powerful statement that I'm going to make. The germ theory is a powerful theory, and especially in our world today, it is. When there's pathogenic patterns that are going on, there's always an emotional underlying cause. There's always an emotional underlying cause. I'm not denying the pathogen. I'm not denying the pathogen. So whether it be a mold or virus or yeast, fungus, whatever it might be, there's always an emotional root. There always is. There just always is. So, you know, the key is, and especially with this mold toxicity, because there could be 5 people in the house with the mold toxicity. How come everybody doesn't get it? You know, and so the key is just to go and appreciate, like, all right, what is that? We'll call it an attractor field or whatever it might be. You know, this is where, Alicia, this is where Lifeline will be so amazing for you in helping you to process whatever subconscious pattern that makes that mold be a conversation on a deeper level. Then you get it from a cellular perspective, you know, be in tune with your eating, hydrate yourself, get rest, move your body, find things that you're passionate, things that fill your heart with joy. Wow. That's quite a combination of really supporting yourself and moving forward. Does that make sense? Does that resonate?
It would. This is not the case. I was on quite a powerful emotional path before I got this. I got a new job. I moved to a different city. I moved into a basement suite. I was only in there for a couple months, and they just neglected
They
the
just
mold
neglect.
exposure itself,
Yeah.
and everything else was really balanced in my life but
Mm,
that.
yeah.
So it was kind of a weird situation.
Yeah. Just an unfortunate situation. Well, you know what? Get in your system step by step, and and continue to, move forward in a positive, in an optimistic way, as tough as it is, because I know I've worked with many people with mold conversations, and I know the frustrations associated with it, but move forward with it. Have you started using the product at all, Alicia?
I never heard of it until an hour ago.
Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm so grateful that you're here.
I really didn't know what this was about.
Wow. I'm so grateful that you're here.
Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah, pleasure. Well, and if you have any questions along the way, as far as whoever introduced it, if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. If I can be a positive light in supporting you, you'll move through this. I know it sucks, and I feel for you. I'm just holding you in a compassionate space of love. There's definitely a conversation here, and just step by step.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. Pleasure. Any other questions?
I want to ask you again. Do you mind?
Yeah, go for it.
I asked you before. Could I have an honor to have you on my podcast upcoming for Awakening Unhealed Healers?
You know what? How about reach out to my wellness center and talk to the people that help me to, do different things in my life, and
Okay.
we'll see how it works out. I would love to be a part of it.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Connor. Awesome.
We just had one more question here. Does it help with digestion, lining of the stomach? And you really kind of addressed that already. So anything with a cell, it's going to go at, and it's going to help to signal the cells so that the body can do what it naturally knows how to do.
Here's something that's really cool too. Like especially when you get up to the 4 ounces twice a day, the 120 mils twice a day, you won't be able to put 120 mils in your mouth and swish it for 30 seconds. So what I would recommend is, once you get up to the 4 ounces, take the first shot, drink it straight down. That's going to go right into the stomach, and you're going to get direct contact with the cellular lining in the stomach, which will be fantastic. The second shot, swish that one for 30 seconds before you swallow, to make sure that you get the mucosal membranes and influence it in that way. But that was a great question. I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for choosing to be here. I know we went a little bit long, but I hope this was valuable. I hope that you learned something new, and that this can add to your health, and increasing your power and your potential of living a confident life, in this ever-changing world. What I know about this product is it's natural, it's effective, it works. This is a real deal. Talk to whoever introduced you to it. Ask them, how do I go about doing it? They can walk you through it. And I want to say thank you to Ellen Welk for really being an amazing light in the world, and helping all of us to support people in this beautiful way. Keep shining bright, my friends.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Darren. You're incredible.
All right back at you.
So much.
Gratitude.
Yep. Reach back out to whoever introduced you, and have a great rest of the day wherever you are.
Awesome.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Connor. Bye,
Bye.
Jody.
Bye-bye,
Awesome. Take care,
everyone.
guys.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.
Infinite love and gratitude.
Infinite love and
Infinite love and gratitude.
Love you guys.